do the Boba Fett show. I think that
I'm
would be
all
great.
in. I showed Muppet Treasure Island to my students a couple weeks ago, high school students. I started with 25 kids in the room and I ended with 8. They hated it. They hated it. I was so upset that I told all the other staff, and all the other staff were upset too.
It's definitely not my favorite Muppets movie, but I mean, I still hold on to the very first one. But I'll be honest, when the new one came out in like 2012 and I was watching it in the theaters, I was sitting next to a friend and I started tearing up when Kermit started singing the Rainbow Connection. Like,
yeah. So we are live. So welcome everybody. How's everybody doing?
Hello. Good.
Great.
Good.
Working hard on
Glad to be here.
Yeah, I'm gonna give a quick update on Varian real quick, and then I will hit the intro, and then we'll come back and do our introductions and get into looking into some awesome campaigns. So if you didn't see Livewire last night, I did update there too. Varian is doing okay, making progress every day. In the mornings, he is a little confused, but then throughout the day, he's pretty good. And then towards 6 o'clock, he starts going down again. We did have a doctor's appointment yesterday. They did tell us that they noticed there was some damage done. Yeah, so we're gonna go see some specialists and get that under control and see what they want to do, because I've noticed, and they finally caught on to it, that there's a pattern. Basically every 2 to 4 years, he either has a mini stroke or he has a full-on stroke. So we're gonna go see some specialists to figure out why that is and what we can do to prevent it. I'm just waiting on referrals, because the doctor gave me general referrals so I can find doctors that take the insurance, and doctors I found want referrals to them. So hopefully it's by tomorrow I have those referrals so I can schedule an appointment for all of them.
Sweet.
Yeah, and again, I want to thank everybody that has donated to the GoFundMe. I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me, and it means a lot to Varian. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing it. It really means a lot. Everything is going to help go towards all these specialists and medications that aren't covered and everything, rides, because obviously he can't drive, so we got to pay for rides and everything, and it means a lot. It really does. So thank you guys.
You're welcome.
And yeah, so let me go hit the intro and we will be right back, guys.
Do it.
And welcome back. And you know what time it is. It's that time for another GeekGasm. So tonight I got different faces to join in this GeekGasm. We're going to have lots of fun. I'm going to go last, and we'll let Max start.
All right, I'm Max DeVille. I operate Known Atrocity Press. We make comic books that your mama warned you about, such as Mary Machine Gun, Human Hunters, and coming up soon in March, Kickstarter will begin March 1st for Ninja Bimbos versus Zombies from Deep Space.
I can't
That's
wait.
a really long and specific title.
I know we were all fucked up coming up with B movie titles, and that was the one I came up with. And
That's totally what it comes across as. That's perfect.
That or the old Family Guy dolphins picking balls out of tanks to make jokes.
Oh yeah.
And John, who are you?
I'm John Anthony Chihak Solpeto. I am the creator of the Bubba Patrol, which is issue 5 is currently live on Indiegogo right now. we are $5 away from making our first goal.
Sweet.
And then we can start working on some crazy stretch goals. And here is one of the stars of the book, Grayson. He actually plays a big role and becomes a big hero during the 5th issue, where the Bubbas continue their first mission of battling the dreaded chicken lizard, Poyojira.
He's so cute.
Nice.
Thank you.
And Gerald, who are you?
Hello, Internet. My name is Gerald Von Carr. I am the managing editor of Breakneck Fantasy Anthology, bringing you 5 sword and sorcery black and white short stories from creators across North and South America and Europe. I started switching continents there in the middle of that sentence.
North and South Europe.
North and South
the
Europe and just Western
America.
Americas. We launched at the beginning of the month. We funded in 8 hours, which was fantastic and took a lot of anxiety off my back for our first big anthology. And by big, I mean small, because it's only 5 stories. So we are working on stretch goals. We are currently six backers away from our 150 backer stretch goal.
Nice.
Yeah.
And Nigel, who are you?
Hi, good night, everyone. Thank you for inviting me here.
Mhm.
My name is Nigel Lynch. I'm from Barbados, and I'm an indie comic writer. I've been writing for about 15 years. I just did a book with Abrams imprint called Hard Ears, but this is my first time doing a crowdfunding campaign, and I'm doing a book called The Diary of the Stray Dogs, The Wounded, and it's a kind of sci-fi, science fiction, adventure kind of book.
Sweet.
Nice. And last but not least, Mr. Aaron, how are you?
Hi, my name is Aaron Pohara, and I'm the creator of Book of Laxia. Currently, I have a one-shot available on Kickstarter that's focused on a character of Hades. So my book is basically like different mythologies, Greek, Egyptian, Norse. So they're all like interconnected, living in the same realm. Easiest way I can describe it to everybody is essentially think of Saint Seiya meets Game of Thrones. It's super crazy. All the pantheons are separated in families, and there's a lot of like mystery, intrigue, action going on. And we're currently funded for the Hades chapter that gets really, really dark, and it is my 5th Kickstarter that's currently in production, and it should be done here very shortly. I should have it sent to printers here very shortly, just waiting to finalize covers and all of that. And after that, I'm just going to work on the finale for the first arc.
Nice.
Awesome.
Cool.
And everybody knows me. I am Lola, your indie princess. I am the EIC of indievolt.com. I'm the owner of Shocker Comics Publishing, co-owner of Let's Call Comics. I help with Liberty, but right now, while my king is down, I am running all companies. On top of being a mom and going to college, which I graduate in, I think, 18 weeks.
Sweet.
Hey.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
Well, they do say, and I've played chess a few times, the queen is the most versatile piece on the board. So,
Oh yeah. I'm holding down the fort. So yeah, we got Seth in the chat. How are you, Seth? And we got William in the chat. How are you? And he's getting there. I update when I can. But anyone can always reach out to me personally if they have a question and want to know how he's doing. Just private message me. I'll answer you. But we do have a topic for tonight. Varian actually told me this. He wanted me to bring it up. So there's a person going around basically trying. If I got the story right, trying to. Hold on. Let me get the story real quick.
It's me. I'm the person. I'm going around. I'm going around shilling my book.
Okay, so yeah, there's I don't know if it's one or a couple people doing this. Basically what they're doing is they're approaching super backers like me, and they're trying to buy their profile from them,
Huh.
so they can run their campaign off that profile because they never backed a book or supported anybody, so they want a profile that looks good, so people will come back their project.
Oh, wow.
That's weak sauce.
So what do you guys think about that?
That's weak sauce. So, it's shady on both parts. I mean, like if you sell your Kickstarter profile, that's pretty shady. Buying a Kickstarter profile, pretty shady. Now, trying to misrepresent yourself, completely shady.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I'm not down for it at all.
How much money? Because like I'm not a super backer. I've backed a decent number, and I'm doing it more and more as I've gotten to know more creators and stuff.
Mhm.
Like $1,000. I mean, how many people back a campaign based not on the quality of the campaign, but just how many things that account has backed?
Yeah, that's a good question. I was gonna just pipe in there for a second, Gerald. Like,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure all of us are for sale at some price, and Gerald, it's at least $1,000 because he stopped and he
least.
thought about it. Yeah,
Well,
Like,
it's gonna be really high for me because
Yeah.
I am
Yeah.
a super backer, and
I didn't even
I back
I
a
didn't even-
lot of.
yeah I didn't even know what any of that was. And then I was on Twitter a few, maybe like 2 years ago, and I saw that Jimmy Palmiotti was talking about when he goes on Kickstarter or Indiegogo or whatever, he looks to see how many campaigns that person has run versus how many they've backed. And that's one of the decisions he makes. And I was just like, okay, but what about somebody who maybe doesn't have the funding to do that? Now you could go and you could throw $1 at like 50 campaigns in a week, and that still makes you a backer. But does it make you like a backer in the real sense?
Not really, because I mean, if you go to a person's profile, you can bring up what they backed and everything. I'm looking at my profile right now, and I joined Kickstarter almost a year ago. I joined in April of last year, and I've already backed 80 projects, and I have more to still back. And it wasn't for $1, I can tell you that.
Yeah. The I guess I started using Kickstarter and as a platform, and I've switched over to Indiegogo. So it's only going to show like.
He's fine.
Okay?
Yeah,
He's fine.
You okay?
This is normal for him. He smokes the good stuff.
And I've only run like 3 campaigns on Kickstarter, but I've run like 3 or 4 on Indiegogo. But I'll bounce back and forth based on campaigns of like who's running what and if I want to back it. So it's not going to be. It's a lot more lopsided for me. I don't know about everybody else.
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
back
Oh,
on both platforms.
Okay.
The same thing here. Then there's also a thing where like when I first started, I started with a different email address. So there's things I backed with a different account, and I never really thought it actually would actually come and catch up to me saying, well, you've backed this amount or you've backed this, so therefore we'll back you. And as you said, I backed on Kickstarter, but I'm not doing my campaign on Kickstarter. I'm doing my campaign on Indiegogo, but I've backed at least 4 books on Kickstarter because I kind of just go where the book that I want to support is. I'm not really thinking of how much I'm backing in one place or the next.
Yeah.
That's not what I do.
I think it has a bigger impact not with trying to front yourself as a creator who's backed a lot of things, because people are going to judge your campaign on your campaign at the end of the day and what you're presenting. Like when I launched my Kickstarter, I got 5 messages in the first 24 hours from people trying to convince me to pay them to get me backers. And every single one of those had 0 backed, 0 campaigns. And immediately I know, okay, this is spam. Like this is a scam. If someone came in with 800 backed campaigns and 6 run campaigns or whatever and was saying, hey, I have this legitimate business, I may have taken that message more seriously.
Yeah.
Now, me in my position, I'm still not going to do that, but I can understand why people fall for it already with those 0 on those accounts, because they're desperate in psychological terms, not in like, oh, I'm desperate for my campaign to work, but when you launch, you're full of anxiety and adrenaline and trying to make this thing work. So someone throws you a lifeline, you're like, yes, please, thank you. If that account has a ton of numbers on it and it looks successful, I think that's where the real danger is of people falling into that more.
Right. I myself, I back a lot of Kickstarters. I don't really do it for a sake of, hey, I'm gonna launch something and I'm just gonna back it to up my numbers. I truly, when I back a campaign because I want to back it. Profile, it's I backed a lot of books, a lot of projects, board games, just the stuff that interests me, and because I know, for one, it's probably the only place I will be able to get that product. And if it looks interesting, a lot of the indie support, supporters and creators, you're able to only get that product on Kickstarter or Indiegogo. Most of them, are not fully published, and either don't want to get published or just didn't have the luck to get published, to get into Diamond and get into those local comic book stores. But I love comics. I'm a collector, so if there's something that interests me, I will get it. But to what you were saying, to buy a campaign or try to basically tell people, hey, I backed this many projects, pay me money to get you backers. That's crazy. I will never be behind that. That's just insane.
Yeah, I know for me, a lot of it had to do, I think I'd only backed like 2 or 3 campaigns until 2020. And then started thinking like, well, I'm indie. I want, I need to put my money where my mouth is, and I need to back other creators who are indie. And that means, getting commissions. That means checking out profiles. And so that was also around the time I started watching some of the podcasts, Indie Volt and Ragin, and seeing those creators. And for me, it's not about the numbers that puts me in to wanting to back a campaign. It is the content, but it's also about learning about that creator and their journey. Like if I'm on the fence about it and I find out something that connects me to that creator, I'm like, okay, I'm in.
Yep.
I might even be more in to backing because I find a connection with the creator than if I'm actually into the project itself. Because I like to see people, succeed. And if I can, do that by contributing something, then, that's better than just sitting there and hoping they make it kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, you're on the spotlight, sir.
All right.
Do you want me to play the video first, or do you want to talk first?
Well, yeah, go ahead and play the video.
Okay.
Anthony Chihak. Hey guys, it's me, John Anthony Chihak Soldetto, creator of the Baba Patrol. I'm not gonna go out quietly. That's what this campaign is about. It's about celebrating that legacy that these Bubbas give me every single day. They are my heroes. They are my superheroes.
This path we take is just the start, with strength and smarts and lots of heart. We stand for those against evil and hate. We choose to be heroes. There is no fate.
These are not just dogs. They are family members, and the world will see them as heroes.
That was cute.
I get choked up because that was like one of the last things that Meredith worked on before she died. And they did such an amazing job on that video. I'm just like super like, if nothing else, like I just get excited watching that.
Yeah.
All right, let me try to compose myself a little bit. So we launched on Monday, and we've got an early backer profile. So for the first full week, people can back at the same contribution level and get 2 copies of the book. And that's the one that's featured right now. We actually should have 5 on there. Somebody backed the regular single one, but I hadn't featured the week one. So they're going to be grandfathered in, as it were. So they'll get 2 copies as well.
Okay.
Day one backers also are going to get a rebark or a remark on their covers as well. And we went with the Brave and the Bold 28, which is the first appearance of the Justice League for this cover. And it features the characters respectively going after this giant chicken lizard named Poyojiro. And for the first time ever, we're doing digital. I've just got to figure out how to get the rest of the books put together digitally. Somebody suggested just doing it as like a digital trade, which might be an easier process. Because I wanted to be able to get this to people who maybe, are overseas or whatnot. And I know there were some people who said that they would have gotten it, but the shipping over the pond would be insane.
Yeah.
In fact, I didn't even offer anything outside of the country. So that limits me too. And that was Nita and Meredith also. They were just like, dude, that's pure profit. Just do it. And I was like, okay. We've got some
out of the country. It starts costing you $35, $40 to ship something. You're losing
exactly.
money.
Yeah, exactly. We've got a couple of really cool variants.
Hi, Jason.
Hey, Jason.
What up?
JoJo Seams. Actually, you can scroll down there. It is right there. It's the what I call the Say Cheese variant. The concept behind it was originally supposed to be a selfie with all the characters in it, like saying, "Okay, look terrified," and all the characters wouldn't have fit into the camera the way that we were thinking. And so JoJo came up with the idea, like, why don't we do it like they're taking a photo, and it's still like this same thing.
Yeah.
And so She did such an amazing job on this. She does a book called The Makeshift Man, which is all done in watercolors. And it's this really eccentric problem-solving guy who runs around doing stuff with his sidekick jackalope, Elvis. She's also a MetaZoo trading card artist. And then our other variant cover is a Mystery Science Theater 3000 homage, which was done by another local to Tucson artist named Alex Ild, who's got a Webtoons book or Webtoons story that's super highly anticipated called Dealings of the Damned. And they crushed it. And when I shared it the other day on Twitter and tagged MST3K, they liked it. So that's actually the next image was the screenshot from that. So you got sketch covers, mystery doggy bags, retailer packs for retailers who will also get a special secret VHS variant that's being created right now, but it didn't need to be shown in the campaign. So I'm having my colorist Bill Simpson work on that when he gets a chance. And then for the first time ever, some stretch goals put together. And pretty soon we'll get to start working on that wallpaper. I think I'm going to make the wallpapers are going to be digital, and it's going to be all 3 covers that you'll get a pack of. That way it'll work widescreen on your computer versus your phone and your tablet.
Yeah.
Coloring pages, which again, that came from Ragin. They were like, dude, do coloring pages, do them digitally. And then I didn't know about backer goals before. So like, thanks to you guys, like all the information I'm getting for these last couple of years, we got backer stretch goals as well. So, and then just some crazy like information about the book and some interior pages. The dog that you saw in my lap earlier, that's him. That's him getting his costume for the very first time. And he actually has that costume in real life. His grandma Marilyn from Missouri made that for him.
Nice.
And so he
represent.
She made a costume for Foley as well. He's the Mr. Whoopi, that guy right there, the one talking about the Pollo Jira. If you go down just to the strip across, yeah, that one right there.
Right
That's
there.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Foley passed away while we were making issue 4. So the book itself is based on my love for my dogs and like dealing with creating their legacy and getting through the grief of their loss.
Am I seeing one of them having like a classic Wolverine? Is that like homage to the classic Wolverine suit?
Yeah. So the sidekick character Agnew, he's got claws that pop out, and he in issue 1 he has like the tiger stripe yellow and blue Wolverine costume, but it's a ninja costume. And then for this story, it's like, well, what are we gonna do? But it's also him trying to find his place and who he is. So after this, once I go into different stories, he's going to be more confident that he doesn't have to take on other people's personas. Like he can be Agnew J. Pennyworth, and that's good enough, kind of thing. I just thought it would be cute and silly for him to be running around in a Wolverine costume. So
Yeah, it's a really cute.
Anytime someone says Agnew, I can't help but think of Futurama.
And that's the thing. Whenever I talk to people, they think Spiro Agnew, and it's actually back when I was still kind of into sports. There was a defensive end named Ray Agnew, and I was looking through my trading cards after I'd created this character, and I was like, "What's his name gonna be?" And I came across Ray Agnew. I'm like, Agnew, that's a good name.
Sounds good.
So my next victim of the night is going to be
Oh,
Mr. Max.
shit. It's me.
It is.
Our story, Ninja Bimbos versus Zombies from Deep Space. It follows 5 exotic dancers that the zombie apocalypse occurs while they are at work. Meteor shower happens over North and South America, wiping out most of civilization. And then it leaks this green gas that causes people to turn into zombies. And the Ninja Bimbos must find their way through New York City in order to survive the zombie apocalypse. And it is a gory, sexy good time. Total B movie. A gory, sexy.
Someone has feedback.
Total B movie.
Somebody's watching the YouTube. Yep,
Yeah. Let me see if I can find.
we lost them.
It's Corman-esque, you might say.
There you go. I'm trying to find the pages that. There we go. Here's some Kickstarter images.
Max, I got one really big question for you.
Yeah.
Do they start out as ninja bimbos, or do
No.
they learn to become ninjas?
They learn to become ninjas.
Okay.
They actually.
I just felt like 5 or more strippers who are all working at the same place who also happen to be ninjas may have been too far.
Yeah, a little too far fetched from the zombies and the green gas.
I mean, what are the chances? All 5 of them.
What kind of food do they serve at the strip club?
I don't know. They do serve food though, because they ended up grabbing knives and talking about how they're glad that there's all day buffets. But this is the beginning of it. It's just the meteors coming towards New York. And there's the club they work at, the Pussycat Club. This is more of this isn't in order. This is more of like a trailer instead of having the pages in order. Here's the meteor shower occurring. This is one of my favorite parts.
Mm-hmm.
Is the priest is knocking the little girl down. It's like, get out of the way, bitch. And then the end is near guy crushed by the fucking by the meteor. Oh, this book is so fun.
Those cityscapes, man. Those cityscapes are great.
Yeah,
Mhm.
he really. Alex Santana is the guy who does the artwork for this, and he is just on point. Him, Fran Cord does the inks, and Adam Ramos does the colors, and they're a force to be reckoned with. That way, I mean, for a cheesy, tongue-in-cheek book, they really gave it their all.
It's the only way to do it.
And here's the zombies finally coming out. And then the girls are talking to each other. They came back. They come to, and they're not zombies because they didn't.
Is body glitter the antidote to being a zombie?
Funnily enough, that is exactly what it's the brand of body glitter that they use that makes them not become a zombie.
Oh God, dude, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to...
That's okay. Hey, if people guess it, I'll let it out. He says what happens, and this is my favorite page.
Oof.
And Mitch, and he's coughing. And she's like, "Are you okay?" And he's growling at her, and then she's biting her in the neck, and she's like, "No, Mitch, you're a vegan." But those are the pages that I show for Ninja Bimbos. It'll be out on March 1st, and there'll be much more to show on the Kickstarter, and it'll be epic, beyond epic proportions. This is going to be a fantastic fucking book. And I can't wait to just have fun. I mean, Mary Machine Gun's kind of a serious story. Human Hunter's kind of a serious story. It tackles some serious things like human trafficking and stuff like that. And this book is just crazy, gory, sexy fun. And that's where you need to be sometimes, just having a good time.
Yeah.
Where did the concept come from?
getting stoned and thinking of B movie titles. And mine
So
was,
you came up
was
with the
actually-
title first, and then you worked
Oh, yeah.
backwards.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
it was actually Teenage Ninja Bimbos versus Zombies from Deep Space was the original title. But as we were writing it, we're like, well, you can't become a ninja overnight. So it'd take you at least a year or two to train. So if they were all 18, they'd still be like 20. So let's just drop the teenage part and just have Ninja Bimbos versus Zombies from Deep Space.
And Jason is chiming in. He said, Max, just wow.
I told you, Atrocity Press, we make the comics your mama warned you about.
Yeah.
Hey,
Stuff your parents found they'd rip it up. Here's, that's a good question. What comic book did you own that your parents rip up? Mine was Pitt.
I didn't know anything about comics until I met my husband.
Ah,
I don't think my parents ever ripped anything up. I do remember when I had my first comics, I got them from some kid when I was visiting my dad, and some of them were like G.I. Joe comics, and my dad was a Jehovah's Witness at the time, and while I was in his house, he wouldn't let me look at those, so like I got to read the same issue of Captain Carrot like 50 times.
Over and over and over again.
Till I got back home.
So nobody's parents ever caught them with anything that they weren't supposed to have?
The most that ever happened to me, I had an issue of heavy metal that kind of just disappeared.
I think I had a couple books disappear. Not comics though.
Yeah, my mom took my anarchist cookbook. I'm so pissed off at her, but I can't do anything about it because she's got my book.
So explain what we're looking at.
All right. So Breakneck Fantasy Anthology, 5 action-packed comics from some of the best up-and-coming creators. We have 2 goals at Breakneck. The first is to bring you magic, muscle, murder, and mayhem jam-packed into 5 6-page short stories. The other one is to help brand new creators find their first publishing credits. It is a difficult job to find your first anthology to get into, to kind of produce those first couple comics. So that's our goal. We've got people who have a couple publishing credits. We've got people who this is their first publishing credit coming out. So we are super excited to present 5 action-packed short stories in there. You can see the 5 right there. When I Freeze Hell Over is about an ice witch charging down the path to conquer hell. Meat is about brotherly rivalry between orcs. Jack and Beans is our cartoony, silly adventure with a legendary hero and an amateur adventurer dragging him down. Tale of Zeron is our kind of horror and creepy thriller story where a young prince relives the downfall of his royal family. And then I am in the book as well with Ignacio de Meglio, my artist buddy and fellow editor on this. And we did Crypt Sisters, where monster hunting is a family affair.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's our cover right there. That's our cover A. Yeah. I tracked down Francesco de la Serva on Instagram. That's kind of only where he lives. So if you need to find him, go there. I was super excited when he agreed to do our cover, and he smashed it out of the park in like a week and a half.
That looks awesome.
Yeah. So I was super excited to get that. And that was how I kind of showed all the creators who were submitting to the anthology that I was serious, because I funded the cover up front. None of that will be coming back out of the campaign. I said, I'm taking this seriously, so let's all do it right. So this is the first story, When I Freeze Hell Over, from Chris Moses, who runs Red Sea Comics. He's put out several. He's probably the person with the most credits on the team, all self-published so far. And he's with Marco Del Forno and Reed Hinckley Barnes doing letters. This is the Ice Witch story. So we see our main character, summoning what is supposed to be a familiar, and instead he gets, or she gets, a teenage girl. And things go weird and wild from there. And then we've got Meat from Craig Dawson and Sinnerman. Sinnerman is just an insane artist. He smashed it out of the park. There's also
the art looks fantastic. The gray tones are good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the layouts are fantastic. Everything flows really well.
Yeah.
So
good. We have a variant cover down below that we'll see from him as well. And then this is our cartoony, kind of silly adventure with Jack and Beans. And that's art by Dexter Morrill and written by Victor Santiago. And then Tale of Zeron is from Elizabeth Machides, who is from Georgia, the country, not the state. And she did this she brought me this comic almost entirely done. We just had to touch some of the lettering a little bit and I think like remove page numbers is like the most she had done. She produced this almost entirely herself in that regard, and it's amazing. She needs to get hired to do official Dragon stuff. It's crazy.
Fantastic. The art of this book is great.
Yeah. And then last but not least, Crypt Sisters, written by me, art by Ignacio de Meglio, and it is our big punchy action adventure monster hunting finale.
Nice.
Yeah.
How many pages are there in total?
32-page book, so there's 5 stories, 6 pages each, plus two pages of back matter stuff. It's I hear a lot about how if anthologies are going to be successful, you might as well go big. I said I'd rather do multiple anthologies in a year. So we're already planning ahead for our second release. So this is our variant cover from Dexter Morrill, who was the interior artist on Jack and Beans. So he took it on himself to make this fantastic full grayscale version. So that's super cool. And then we've got variant C from Elizabeth Machides again, and that is an older Zeron after he's seen some shit.
I like how the covers are color or black and white too.
Yeah, I actually didn't ask anything in particular from the interior artists, and so this is our virgin variant D. It's going to be our Kickstarter campaign exclusive from Sinnerman. It'll be the only one that's in color, unless we reach our $10,000 stretch goal, in which case we will offer a color version of the cover A as well. But that's all the main stuff in the campaign. Right now we're pushing for 150 backers. We broke 125, and J.L. Johnson Jr. has offered us the first issue of the Ennead, The Rule of 9, to go to all our backers, and now we're working on 150, and Travis Gibb has offered us a preview digital version of Cthulhu Invades Wonderland, which is a big get for us. And we just unlocked our narrated storytime video, which is our funding goal. I will read through the entire comic panel by panel in Dungeons & Dragons DM style voicing. That'll be a private video that goes out to our higher tier backers.
Won't stay private for long. It'll be on YouTube quick.
You know what? That's okay.
Pirate Bay's coming.
With it being an anthology and you already having future issues planned, are these stories self-contained within the anthology issue, or are they going to potentially be continuations?
So my first goal for this was to make sure they were self-contained stories. So each one has a beginning, middle, end. That was part of the goal of targeting new creators as well, is that new creators need practice finishing something. And I spent a lot of time on the subreddit Comic Book Collabs trying to convince people, like, don't try and make your 20-issue mega series. You don't know what you don't know yet. The first thing you make is the worst thing you make. because you're just not practiced. And creativity is a muscle, just like you need to practice for sports, or just like you need to practice your technical art skills. So that was my goal. Crypt Sisters is going to be a returning cast of characters. Each story is going to be different. It's kind of end up feeling a little bit like Supernatural meets Monster Hunter World, where we see different monsters every issue. That's going to be the only returning IP frequently. When I freeze hell over, Chris has already said he's interested in pursuing that chase to the throne of hell with his character a bit more, so he may return in a future, or he might do it himself. And I believe Elizabeth has more planned with Zeron. She's produced a bunch of... Elizabeth is crazy. When I said, hey, does anyone want to do variant covers? We're thinking about variant covers. She said, yes. Here's 3 finished sketches, and I have 6 more that I can send you. And I said, I like them. And she said, okay, here's 3 that are done. And like bing, bang, boom, they were done. So she is a producer. She's very prolific. I think we're going to see awesome stuff from her. But I think she has more coming from Zeron as well.
And our next book. What are we looking at?
This is Diary of the Stray Dogs, The Wounded. This is like a cyberpunk sci-fi set in the future, where we follow the story of these 2 mercenaries, where they're kind of on a bar in the city, and there's a video that you could kind of show. There's actually the actual trailer there.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll do that first.
Yeah. Got the Akira bike. Nice find on that song too.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah, thanks. So it's kind of set in the future. It's a very cyberpunk-esque kind of story, and what it is, it's I created a world called the Diary of the Stray Dogs about a group of mercenaries, and this is a story of one of the characters and how she kind of got set on her path. So I was producing a different book, and the artist at the time kind of was busy, so he kind of put me on the back burner. So I had to, as you said, was creating, and I didn't want to just stop and do anything. So I kind of pulled up one of the characters that was a very interesting character and said, well, how did she get to where she is in the current story? So this is her story of how she became a part of that mercenary group. And it all starts right here with her meeting this character called Rosa. And it's 32 pages, color. It's a one-shot kind of story with the ability to tell more stories in the series. I'm kind of following that Mandalorian approach, where do a set of one shots that are connected, but you're not forcing the fan base to kind of wait 6 months to get the end of a story. The art is by Juan Carlos Francisco from Spain, and the colors are done by a guy called Edward Kingbola from the Philippines. And these are the two variant covers. This is the first one, and this is the second variant cover. And these are some of the other books in the series. Those there. So these are the other books that will be coming in the future. Set in the same world.
Is this the first book in the saga?
Yes, it's the furthest back in the timeline. What I decided to do was I created a story where I could jump around in the timeline and tell stories from different points, because it's the character's diary, so I don't have to just be on this linear path. Almost like how when we were kids, we kind of got Star Wars in the middle, and then it jumped to the past, and then it came back forward.
Mm-hmm.
I have to say those are the two smart things that you're doing there. Is that like they're their own thing, so you don't, like, somebody who picks up one but doesn't pick up the other is going to be fine. Which is what I'm going to do moving forward after I finish this issue. And then that non-linear timeline, that's a good idea too. Like that reminds me of when I was reading Sin City, and like you read the first book and Marv dies at the end, and then you're reading A Dame to Kill For, and I'm like, why is he alive? And then you find out later, oh, it's not told in sequence. Like,
yeah, I think as indie creators, sometimes, especially we want to, as the guy just said, they want to do this 20 book epic series, and you don't know if you're going to be good or you're going to finish. I just took the approach to do smaller stories which are all connected, and as you get the fans to the fans will respond, and if they like a certain character, you tell more stories about this character, and the world will kind of build itself, just like how, let's say, the Star Wars universe kind of built off of the different little franchises and stuff like that.
Awesome.
Right.
It looks really good.
I gotta run. The books look fantastic. The Sword and Sorcery one, I'm definitely gonna back that one.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Have a good night, Max.
See you guys later. Peace.
See you later, Max.
hey,
So last but not least, we have, where is it? There we go.
All right, guys. So like I said at the beginning, you can kind of play the short. This is voiced, so this is actually voiced as it's going through the actual covers, the different variant covers.
Okay.
I kind of give a little bit of incentive what the story is actually about. So if it's a short thing that I had somebody voice for me, and I think it came out fantastic.
Okay, I'll play that first. Here we go.
Truth. It can only be quantified by those who speak it. Those that hide from the truth are not worthy of existence and shall be purged as the vermin they are. For what they did, I will take everything from them.
So very short, sweet, to the point.
Yeah.
Hades is coming, and this is my 5th book in a series. And it's essentially also the first book chronologically. If you've read the first 4, you're okay reading this. If you've never read them, you're perfectly fine reading it. I've wrote it specifically in that fashion, as my Book of Laxian itself is a big mystery as to what exactly is going on. And these are all the characters that are not in a main story. They're basically these supporting characters that are built onto the story itself. And the art is done by Fabrizio Costantino from Italy, that came in and basically covered after Andy Baccarizzo had to basically we weren't able to finish the book, and it took me forever to find somebody that can do the book aesthetically the way I wanted to do it, but also have it look somewhat familiar to the people that actually read the first 4 issues. This cover right here, so this is actually a cover by Fabrizio. This is the main cover for the book, and it represents Hades on the front, Lucifer, and Kali, as I call them, the Holy Trinity that you really don't want to mess with. So that one is definitely this one is again 3 of them. This is done by an artist. His name is Fakro Rivai. He worked on one of my books as well when I did a miniseries called Modern Mythology. It was actually an anthology as well, like a 6-page book that I've done about Karna and Arjuna, which is basically Mahabharata and like in the Indian mythology and stuff like that. That's completely unrelated to this. And this cover is done by Paolo Pantalena, one of the DC artists that I really, he's one of my favorite artists probably working right now with, his use of color and detail and everything. So currently the book is funded. I'm trying to get to 3,000 goal so I can essentially open up a metal cover. And I think that would be like super cool. So this right here, so this is actually the Book of Laxia. This is the first issue that I'm showing that is on the screen right now, and that was actually the first cover that I ever created. So the story actually follows the 2 brothers, Kronos and Deimos, that are basically living in this realm of surrounded by gods. And they're trying to figure out first who they are. And war has been going on between the gods for eons. And they're basically trying to figure out who started the war and how to end it. And the whole thing, there is an entangled web of mystery that is finally revealed. Everything's revealed in this chapter. Hades, everybody kept asking me, hey, let's get to it. Let's get to the point. And I'm like, trust me, it's coming. It's coming. I give small pieces to it. And this chapter is finally the final reveal of everything that was going on. And it's going to blow people's minds because it's so dark. It's so messed up.
It looks really good.
Thank you so much.
And guys, you only have 3 more days to get a copy, so you better jump on it now. It looks really good.
Thank you so much. Yeah, this has been a project I've been working on for started working on the story about 10 years ago and started working on a comic about 3 years ago. And I know what Gerald said, but I'm like, I was pretty much, my aspect was like, just go big. I mean, if I don't ever do a book again, I'll just go big and I'll have one thing that's left. I do have another story I'm actually writing right now because the Book of Laxia I just finished writing the last chapter. So I'm going to give that off to the artist, and that's going to be a big thing. It's going to be I think it's going to be 96 pages when it's all done. The last 2 chapters combined. Because I'm like Oliver Stone. I don't know how to edit.
Well, you've put together an amazing group of artists. There's some really great looking stuff in there. And just to be fair, my comment about people like don't jump into your big thing first, that's often for people who don't put the work in, right? People don't know what kind of work it takes to do these kinds of big series. And they don't realize how much they're asking of people to hop into their thing that they've been working on for 10 years. But you've clearly put in the work and you put in the time to build this team around you to see your vision as you wanted it. So like, congratulations. It looks great. That's a great looking campaign.
And all the campaigns that were showed tonight, they look awesome, and I'll be backing. But yeah, guys, we are at our hour mark. So, real quick, I know people need material to ship their books out. AnyVolt has a special code for you. If you use Gemini mailers, which you should, use code VOLT10, and it will save you 10% on all your Gemini mailing product.
Nice.
I gotta re-up on mine. I ordered some a while ago, and I had them shipped to my mom's house, and I came home and they were here, and I have no idea how that tiny woman dragged that gigantic box inside the house.
Oh yeah, I got a big box in my living room right now.
Crazy with the supplies, bags and boards. Just getting everything was. Seems everything is on delay. When I talk to my local comic book store, they're like, "Hey, I ordered like 10,000 bags and boards, and I get them in 6 months, and I have to order new ones. So it just takes forever. It's been nuts." So,
yeah, that's pretty much the same thing with my comic shop here. Guy orders, I think he orders like 5,000 every single week, and they can almost never fill them. And then all of a sudden he gets like 10,000, but he's still behind like several needs. So I'm just like, all right, man, just let me know when you get them in, and I'll buy a couple hundred off of you. Because I mean, I need them for my books. I need them for like I run a show on weekends where I sell just regular comics.
Yeah.
And like those Geminis come in so handy.
Oh yeah, they do.
I can't even get a short box around here.
No, I've seen the Gemini actually. They're selling their own short boxes. I've never used them.
I heard they were okay.
BCW?
Yeah, I haven't heard any real complaints about them.
I did mangle the first one that I tried to fold when it came in, because I got the ones that you have to construct yourself.
Yeah.
Like, what is this? But I mean, it's all right.
I recommend
I got like
Gemini.
something really weird. If you don't mind me showing it, I got like this weird thing on Amazon. My comic book stores only had those graphic ones. They wanted like $15 per box for the short box, which I don't mind spending that much, once in a while. But if I'm gonna spend that much money, I want a long box. Except this one thing, I bought like a friend of mine messes with me. He's like, "That looks like a Martha Stewart box." I'm like, "It's so sturdy. It's like this." I can't even describe it. It's like fiberglass type of thing. And it was like $17 for a short box. Comes with like how how you can place the actual thing on the bottom so it doesn't. There's like when you take cards on the conventions, there's that actual like placer on the bottom. It's like super cool, and you can fold it all the way. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'll give it a shot. And it looks cool. It's just all black. There's no real personality to it. But
Stickers.
Yeah.
I get it.
So, Gerald, where can everybody find you?
Yeah, so you can find me on Twitter at G Von Carr, GVONKAHR, or you can get the anthology at Breakneck Anth.
Awesome. Aaron, where can everyone find you at?
You can find me on Twitter at Book of Laexia, on Instagram, Aaron Pohara, and Facebook, Aaron Pohara, or Book of Laexia. I have a group for the actual book itself.
Nice.
Nice.
Nigel.
You can find me on Instagram on Pirate Monkey 76 or Beyond Publishing Caribbean, and on Facebook as Alan Lynch on Facebook.
Yeah, I had to double check. Like, is this the same person? It's a different name.
Yeah.
John, where can everyone find you? Even though you're all over the place.
Yeah. So at Bubba Patrol on Instagram, The Bubba Patrol on Facebook, and I've recently started to get a lot more active on my Twitter, and that's J.A. Chihak Soltero. Twitter.
Nice. And if anyone's looking for me, everyone pretty much knows where to find me, but Linktree indie_princess, you'll find all my links there. Yeah, I am everywhere. Feel free to message me. You guys are more than welcome to come back on the show. Just hit me up. And again, I want to thank everybody who has sent their well wishes, their love, their prayers, contributed to the GoFundMe, sent different things, or are sending different things for Variant to look at. I really, really appreciate it. It means a lot to me, and it means a lot to him. And I want to thank all my viewers tonight, and I want to thank my panel for being on here.
And I want to thank you for inviting me.
Yeah,
thank you for having me.
This was fun.
And that is it for our show tonight, guys. Let me find my outro, and we will be out of here. Here we go.